All right, hello. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. My name's Otis Landerholm, and I'm here. It's Thursday. It's the 8th of September of 2022. Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. I'm your host, Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding immigration lawyer here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And thank you for being here. Okay? So our theme for today are common interview mistakes. All right? What are the common mistakes that we see at USCIS interviews? Specifically, we're talking about marriage-based USCIS interviews. Okay? So let's jump right into our episode. Remember, at the Empowered Immigrant Live, we are here to train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives. All right? So today our theme are common interview mistakes for marriage-based green card cases. Do you want to get a green card? Right? Are you in the shadows? Are you thinking about how can you strategize whether or not you're eligible for a green card? Because if so, I'd love to help you with that. All right? My firm is on a mission. We're on a mission, everybody. We're on a mission to win 10,000 cases in the next 10 years or by 2035. I would love for your case to be one of them. All right? And so thank you for everyone who's asked your questions. I want to open up our conversation to anybody that has questions. As always, we'll discuss this topic in English and then we'll do this episode in Spanish. And so thank you for being here. All right? Oh, I'm just realizing I had Instagram ready and then I forgot to hit the live button. So hello and welcome on Instagram. We're going in. And our theme for today are common interview mistakes for marriage-based cases. All right? So hello on Instagram, hello on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, hello everybody and welcome. All right, very good. So before we get into it, I do want to give an empowerment tip. I like giving an empowerment tip, okay? My tip for you today, my question really for you today is, when was the last time that you took a real risk? When was the last time you took a risk? Now, you know this, right? Immigrants know about risk. It's risky to leave your home, all right, and to go to a new country where there's all kinds of unknowns, new languages, new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things. You never know what might happen. It is risky. But sometimes after we get here and we get our setup and, sometimes we get comfortable and we start pushing ourselves to take new risks so that we can move ourselves and our lives forward. And is that where you are right now? Is that where you are right now? Because I really believe you can't achieve the success that you want in your life without risk. All right, something to consider. Every investment that you make into yourself, into your family, into your education, into your growth, has the possibility of failure. Okay? And that's okay. We need to embrace that. All right? We need to embrace that because without failure, we can't have progress. Without risk, we cannot have progress. All right? Every chance we take in life, hey, it might not work out, but you know something? It also might work out. And if you don't take the risk, what's your life going to be? You're just going to be, living comfortably on the couch, not taking risks for the rest of time? Don't be afraid to risk, all right? Instead, go for it. Now, don't be foolhardy also. Get good advice. Don't be foolhardy, but don't be afraid to take a risk, especially where it's going to move your life forward. That's my empowerment tip for today. I do I encourage you, take a calculated risk. Start a new business, do a new venture, go for a new, heck, going and knocking on that girl or that boy's door, right? They might reject you. They might say, no, that is risky. I encourage you to do it because, heck, it might just completely transform your future. All right? All right, that's all I'm going to say for today. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. So by the way, if our content on this page is useful, right, please subscribe, like, follow, share, do all that good stuff. It helps us out. All right? I'd love it. I'd love it if you did that. All right, so let's get into the topic, shall we? Interview mistakes, common interview mistakes. All right? Basically, I've got 4. All right? I've got 4 interview mistakes that I see that I want to just share today, and then we'll get into your questions. Interview mistake number 1. Ready for it? Interview mistake number 1 that I see, and we get cases that come in where there was a problem at their interview, and now they're coming in, to have us help them fix it. Interview mistake number 1 is not going over every page of your immigration forms to be very familiar with the questions that immigration will be asking and the answers that you originally put in those forms. Okay? These cases are taking years, often 2 years right now, like 18 to 24-ish months is what a marriage-based green card application is taking right now. And so it's common that you might have forgotten what you and your lawyer put in the application forms 2 years ago by the time that you're going into your interview. So you want to be ready, right? And when you go into your interview, review that stuff. Be ready to update your information. If information has changed, maybe you've changed addresses, maybe you've changed jobs, maybe you've had a child, maybe there's, things may have changed in your life, right? You might need to update the forms. You also, going through the forms, you might need to correct any error that was made when you originally submitted those forms, all right? Especially, if your date of birth had like the month and year reversed or something. There are common errors that you want to go through and correct so that it doesn't show up on your green card with an error, right? Does that make sense? So hopefully that didn't happen, but if it did happen, correct it by the interview, all right? And you want to be able to answer things in a consistent way with the way they were put in the forms, right? Where possible. You don't want to be saying one thing and then have it be contradicting something that was in the application. You want to make sure that the forms are accurate and that what you're saying is accurate and that the accuracy matches. Okay? So common mistake number 1, not going over every page of all of the immigration forms just to be sure that the information there is accurate and to make sure that you are prepared for how to answer them. Okay? Common interview mistake number 2. All right? Common interview mistake number 2 is really not being on the same page with your spouse about the details of your marriage. Okay? Like there are questions that the immigration officer is going to want to ask. You might call them simple questions. Hey, where did you two meet? When was your first date? Who proposed to who? Who was at your wedding? All right, tell me about it. Imagine, the husband says, oh, we met at a party. And then imagine the wife says that my cousin introduced us and we first met through a FaceTime call. All right? Those two statements, you might say, hey, the immigration officer might think, wow, they're not on the same page. One of them's lying or they're clearly not in the same relationship. And yet, isn't it true that maybe both of those are correct? Right? Maybe the first time they spoke was on a FaceTime call, but the first time they met in person was at that party that the husband was talking about. Right? But it's like, it's okay if the details don't match up 100%. Any couple are going to have different ways of remembering different events that happen. But it is wise, let me just say it like this, it is wise to review the details together before the interview so that where there's confusion, where there's misremembering of details, maybe the husband or the spouse completely forgot about that FaceTime call and they completely are remembering meeting at the party. You want to talk through that stuff and get on the same page. Oh yeah, let's check the record. What date was that? Oh, was that the first time we met? Okay, great. So that we're on the same page and not like making stuff up or trying to remember details during the USCIS interview. It's better to have thought that stuff through ahead of time. Got it? All right, it's just common error that we see. Mistake number 3 is right in line with the other two, right? It's like people don't practice enough. Practice with your lawyer and practice with each other. Practice. All right? And that's, hopefully that's self-explanatory. I want you, if you've got a marriage-based green card interview coming up, do some practice runs. Okay? If you're our client, we can give you questions that are like common green card interview questions. You can go through your application. We'll give you a copy. If you don't, you should have one already, but we can resend you a complete copy of your application so that you can go through it line by line. You know what to expect. All right? And we can go through it actually with you. And we do that. Okay? And you want to do that with your lawyer. If your lawyer's not doing that, hey, demand that they do it. Right? This is your case. You want to make sure that you're fully prepared. All right? That brings me to my 4th mistake. And the 4th mistake, I want to say it should be obvious, right? But we see it so often. The 4th mistake is do not go to an interview by yourself. Don't go by yourself. Go with a lawyer, all right? And if you don't speak fluent English, if you're not 100% comfortable speaking in English, also go with an interpreter. Do not go by yourself ever. Okay? Like, I am a lawyer, and if I were going through this process with my wife, I would pay money for another lawyer to go with us. It's like that important that a client, right, who's going through a process, have someone else with them in the interview who can make a record, who can object if USCIS officers want to be jerks to you, all right? Who can help you fight your case. Ask for a supervisor to come in if the officer is doing things that are inappropriate on your case. You want somebody with you who's done thousands of these cases to help fight for you. Okay? So I hope that was helpful. I really hope it was helpful. If you have questions about it, hey, please send them our way. I want to get into your questions too. So, and everybody, hey, if you're here tuning in, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, hello, welcome. I'm Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. I've got a couple of questions today, and so I'll answer those. And if you have a question right now, now's the time. Send it in. I'll do what I can to answer it, and we'll make that happen. All right? So my first question here today comes from Malang. All right, Malang, thank you for asking your question. Malang, your question is, I have a removal and a withholding order, and it says it's due on September 15th, 2022 for an asylum case. Okay, I'm not 100% clear on what you mean by that. You say, and then you say, I need an attorney to assist me in the case. Can your firm stand for me? So, Malang, thank you for asking that question. Do you mean that you have a hearing in court about your case, your asylum and withholding of removal case on September 15th, like in 7 days? If that's true, call our office right now. Okay? And yes, we could maybe do that, but that's a very short amount of time. Today is the 8th of September. If that's the situation you're in, call our office today, right now, or send us your phone number today, right now, because let's schedule a consult like tomorrow to discuss your issue. That is super urgent. And if it's not like if it's not like a trial that's coming up next week, and if it's some other thing, I mean, still, feel free to call. Like, let's talk it through. I'm not 100% clear on what service you need by September 15th, 2022, and that the timeline is so tight. Like, let's have that full conversation today, if possible. Okay? So, Malang, I hope we can get you the help that you need. And yes, we do asylum cases, removal defense cases, withholding of removal cases. We can help you with that. And sometimes the best strategy where the timeline is so narrow, sometimes we file a motion to continue the case to give you more time, to give us more time, and we request all your records so that we can really see what we can do to maximize your chances of winning this thing. All right? I don't like going in unprepared with just a week in advance. No, that's not a good plan. Like, let's request all your records. Let's explain the judge the situation. If you needed to find a different lawyer or your previous lawyer wasn't working out and now you're contacting my office, we can do that. All right? But we've got to explain it to the judge to request more time to fully prepare your case. Okay? All right, thank you, Malang, for asking that question. Best of luck, okay? Give us a call. All right, my next question comes from Riaz. Malang and Riaz, cool names to both of you. So Riaz, thank you for asking your question. Your question is, I got robbed in my store and I don't have video evidence, but I do have a police report. Can I still apply for a U visa? Okay, great question. Thank you for asking this question. So Riaz, the way the U visa works, is first you have to be the victim of one of the crimes that qualifies for the U visa. And the truth is that quote unquote robbery does not qualify automatically for a U visa unless there's some aggravating factor. Like, was it an armed robbery? Were you held up at gunpoint? Was there a assault along with the robbery? Were you physically assaulted in any way? Was it an actual crime against the person? Or was it just a theft of some kind of item in the store? And the reason that distinction matters is because the way the U visa is written, there are certain crimes that can qualify for a U visa when someone was the victim of that crime and they cooperated with law enforcement. All right? The term robbery is not on the list of qualifying crimes, but terms like assault, all right, if you were assaulted, like physically harmed, does qualify. Of course, it has to be a quote-unquote felony when it's an assault crime. There are other crimes that might qualify too, quote-unquote false imprisonment, like if somebody said freeze and you're stuck there, you can't move, that can qualify for a false imprisonment crime. There are other crimes that might qualify as well. So Riaz, your first recommendation is get that police report and let's have a consultation about it. let's review that police report and let's see if it can qualify for a U visa. Okay, that's my first recommendation. And my office gives people advice. I review sometimes 2 to 3 different police reports a day. All right, to give people advice about the U visa. We'd love to help you. We'd love to take a look at the police report. Not a problem. Okay. So, I see that you've added that. Gunpoint robbery, thank you for that. When someone is held up at gunpoint, that becomes, that's a threat against your life. That's more than just a run-of-the-mill robbery. We have won U visas for people in that situation, okay? And so, yes, that is a potential case for a U visa. We'd love to talk it through with you. I'd still love to review the police report just to see precisely how it was written there. You do not need video evidence in order to apply for a U visa, all right? Your declaration plus the police report can be enough, okay? And so, Riaz, thank you for clarifying that. Yes, I do believe that you have a potential case for a U visa. I'd love to discuss it with you. Give us a call. We'd love to help you with that. Very good. All right. I think those are all the questions that I've received. All right. And it's now 10:30, so perfect time for us to switch to do this in Spanish. If you're joining us, I see Freynaldo and Agustin and Rosimber Solis on Instagram. Hello to each of you. Thank you all so much. If you're joining us on TikTok, hello, thank you so much. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, hey, thank you so much for being here and for joining me today. My name is Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And if this was useful, or if you still have a question or whatever, hey, please subscribe to our channel. Please still send us whatever question you have. I can answer it in the future or upload it to our YouTube channel. And if you have an immigration case, hey, please feel free to give us a call. We are here to help, and we are very good at what we do. We'd love to help you navigate your immigration situation. That's what we're here to do. Okay? So thank you so much for being here. Again, I'm Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. We'll see you next week on our next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.